Social Justice Paladin, Episode 24, Politics, specifically My Politics, Part 1 of 4. Intro. Of all the episodes I've done, this one is probably going to be the one that gets me in the most trouble, or maybe even banned from YouTube. If that happens, I have, or I will have, a Rumble account as a backup. Trigger warnings ahead. If you've watched any of my other videos, especially the more preachy ones, you can probably guess my personal bent in politics. But before you go labeling me as a, quote, Trump-loving Christo-fascist, I humbly request that you get my side of the story. You can't judge a book by its cover, just like you shouldn't look at every pink-haired, overweight, tatted-up, nose-ringed, androgynous person waving a rainbow flag and assume their politics are left of Lenin. So too, I am suggesting that you ignore my military haircut and the Make America Great Again hat gathering dust in my closet and listen to the whole story. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning. There's this running joke in my family that I remember when JFK was shot. For those keeping score, I was born in 1962 and JFK was shot in Dallas in November 1963. I would have been somewhat less than a year old, and the chances of me actually remembering that event are slim to none. But I allow the rumor to persist. Another anecdote that apparently I'm the only one who remembers is when the Vietnam draft rolled around in 1969, I would have been about in the first grade. I remember watching the draft lottery on the black and white television and seeing my birth date pop up circled on the screen, whereupon I ran through the house in a panic screaming, "Mom, I've been drafted." Thankfully, they never came looking for me. Later, when I was old enough to know what politics even were, Jimmy Carter, may he rest in peace, was president, and we were in the middle of the Iran hostage crisis in 1979. I was a sophomore in high school. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked Jimmy Carter as a person. He was affable, a Southern Baptist, and he taught Sunday school, so you know he had solid morals. After being president, he made for a really good diplomat and founded the Habitats for Humanity. I even took a side trip once to Plains, Georgia, and I bought a bag of local peanuts and a Billy beer. I think the Billy beer is still sitting on top of my mom's fridge on the farm. But overall, I think Carter was a bad, or at least an ineffective president. He was a lackluster lawmaker and did nothing to have our 52 American citizens released. It took America electing Ronald Reagan for Iran to realize that they'd screwed up, even after 444 days of Jimmy Carter's diplomacy. All we really had to do was just elect Ronald Reagan, and they knew the jig was up, and they smartly released the hostages before Reagan took office. I think this proves the old adage that you can only have peace through strength. When I was a senior in high school, I tried out for and made the all-state band, first band, fourth chair. But what does this have to do with politics, you may ask? Well, Ms. Ellison, the high school band director, asked us all-state members, plus a couple others to fill in the ensemble, to play the Star-Spangled Banner at a rally for an upcoming politician named Bill Clinton. Ms. Ellison said that she had attended the University of Central Arkansas together with Bill, and he, or his staff maybe, had asked Miss Ellison to provide the band for the event. Now this would have been in 1980 or 81, but I can't find any record of Bill Clinton ever attending University of Central Arkansas. Wikipedia says Clinton had already completed his Juris Doctorate by 1973. Also, in 1980 to 81, Clinton would have been governor of Arkansas running for his second term, so at least that part makes sense. I distinctly remember one of my classmates saying at that rally, "You know, they're grooming him to be the president." My reaction was, "What? A U.S. president? From Arkansas? Huh, not likely." Little did I know. Being from Arkansas myself, I do remember when Clinton was elected governor. The first thing that happened was that all the taxes shot right up. Not that I cared much at all for taxes, but I remember Mom having fits over how much the taxes went up. But the funny thing was, within a couple of years, our dirt road was paved and modern signs started to appear. Speed limit signs, yellow lines on the main road, markings for Highway 112, and etc. started to appear. I don't mind paying a little more in taxes if it actually leads to public improvements. But if all my taxes are paying for is some politician's new office furniture, they can go suck an egg. Republican, or Democrat. Now, this is a convenient place for a break, but I will just announce that the next part 2, which should be episode 25, part 2 will be participating in the system.